from the 1011 streaming studio, this is Star City Buzz.
Hi everyone, Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio, another edition of Star City Buzz with Danielle Shenk. Danielle, we have a few more events this week compared to last couple weeks. Things starting to pick up now that the holidays are in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, and with it, it's still cold out, but there's quite a few opportunities to connect with nature or kind of have your hand in nature's opportunities this week. This weekend.
Should be good, and the weather this weekend will be
better than last
much
weekend,
nicer,
but
much warmer.
Bearable at least.
Weekend. Very much so. So again, as always, we kind of like to start with one big thing, and the one big thing I picked out for this weekend, Danielle, is going to be down at PBA. Husker women, number 25, Nebraska, in the coaches poll, number 26 in the AP poll, taking on a top team. Ohio State Buckeyes come to town, number 12, Ohio State, and it's the PBA game for the Husker women.
Yeah, and, they're kind of on a roll recently. They just set a record at PBA against Wisconsin, 16 threes. They just needed one more to set the all-time record, I think, for the women's team. But, man, to have that and then, back at home, pack PBA, I think they're on a 15-game winning streak.
Five game winning streak.
Okay, then it's 15-game winning streak against Ohio State at home.
Ooh, there you go. They're 15-4. Yeah. Overall, 6-2 in the conference. And again, like I said, winners 5 straight. They're 12-0 at home so far this season. So again, Sunday, 2 o'clock tip-off, Sunday afternoon, pack PBA for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, there we go.
And it will be on Big Ten Network, too. Well, actually, sorry, I should say BTN Plus, which is Big Ten Network.
Yeah,
so
just another thing that you have to have a subscription for. But
yeah, we think that's going to be kind of the big one this weekend. Otherwise, Husker men, I believe, are on the road this weekend, but there are still a number of other Husker athletic events happening this weekend that we'll get to. But we think this is our big event this weekend. Things happening throughout the weekend, though, Danielle. Again, Sand Hills Global was a busy place last weekend. I will say I did take Liam to the Husker Toy and Buckle Show. He was thrilled with the amount of antique John Deere paraphernalia that was in the building.
Yeah, well, fun time there. Multi-day event, we've talked about puzzling adventures, their scavenger hunt quite a few times. So opportunity, to explore explore Lincoln. Then over at Sand Hills, they're having a Great Plains 8-ball shootout. And then a pop-up Valentine's Day bar over at Captain Jack's is happening until February 4th.
The boys already asked me if they could buy Valentine's. So Valentine's Day right around the corner. So probably see a few more Valentine's Day themed events here over the next couple weeks. Also happening throughout the weekend, we forgot to mention this last week.
Yeah, man, I don't know how it slipped our minds.
You texted me right after we were done, and I was like, well, we're big idiots because we
big dumb.
Didn't put 2 and 2 together.
I was kicking myself.
With how cold it was.
Did you really want to be on the ice anyway?
Exactly. But the Rail Yard Ice Rink is now open for the season. Monday through Friday, it's 4 to 10 p.m., and then on the weekend, it's from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. I did take the boys ice skating last weekend. Not outside again because...
Yeah.
But, we went to the Breslow Center just for the open skate and ran into a friend of mine there. And he was like, it's actually pretty nice because it's about 30 degrees warmer inside the ice skating rink than it was outside at the time.
Yeah, over here at the Rail Yard, you can either bring your own skates or they have some to rent too. So, if you don't have any in the back of your car or you're not an avid ice skater, they will have some available for you.
I needed to use the ice skating walker.
I probably would too if I get out there.
But I was able to cover it up because it was under the guise of I was helping my children skate, so I got to at least do that. Also happening, Rock Creek Renegades Gun Show that's going to be over at Sand Hills Global Event Center. Friday, it's 5 to 8 p.m. Saturday from 9 to 5, and then Sunday from 9 to 3. And then over at the Lead Center, they'll be busy this weekend. They got a couple things going on. The Metro Jazz Quintet playing favorite love songs Friday and Saturday at 7:30, Danielle. That should be good.
Yeah, they said the quintet includes many of the finest jazz musicians in Nebraska. So these are Nebraskans performing for whoever is willing to go and listen to some awesome jazz with some love songs.
There you go. And you also have a couple. You have Bobby Gaduri still playing over at Art and Soul. Nebraska Wesleyans Miller Lab Theater is hosting Dial M for Murder. So that show will be happening. That's starting tonight, I believe, through the weekend. Show on Saturday at 7:30. Shows through Saturday are at 7:30, and then Sundays at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, and so Dial M for Murder is based on the original 1952 Broadway play that inspired Alfred Hitchcock's classic movie starring Grace Kelly. So that probably means more to those who
we're more theatrically inclined.
Or maybe younger too, but it sounds like a great show still.
It does. It's all good things. Jumping into Friday, though. Again, specifically events for the day tomorrow. Again, as always, we have Fridays at Prairie Pines Nature Reserve. That's going to run all day, 9 to 5. Weather tomorrow should be nice for it. If you don't want to be outside, you can head inside, though. Nebraska Track and Field, the Prairie Wolf Indoor Invitational. It's going to be at 1 o'clock over at the Devaney Center. Yes,
and so this is a select few Nebraska Track and Field athletes are competing on Friday, but the whole team will compete on Saturday.
Okay.
In I think a different sort of invitational, but lots of Husker track and field events.
Tis the season.
Yeah, and then we'll get to Saturdays, but they'll have a little thing for the kids. So we'll talk a little bit more about that one.
That's what we call a teaser.
A teaser. It's season, yeah. And then at 4 p.m., Nebraska women's tennis is taking on Wichita State over at Sid and Hazel Dillon Tennis Center. And 6:30 to 8 is Twilight Treks at Pioneers Park Nature Center. We've talked about that one before. You know, they'll talk about different themes each time. So I'm not sure what theme it is this time, but, you know, it's a surprise every time. So
I will also say the other night, got out of church with the boys, 6 o'clock. And it was still a little light outside.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by 6:30 when this starts, it might be a little bit dark by that time. But we're gaining daylight, Danielle.
Yeah.
And our average high went from 35 to 36. So we're starting
to
climb back upwards for some of these outdoor events. Back at the Lead Center, 7 o'clock Friday evening, a night of magic and comedy. Should be a good show. Then over at the Bourbon Theater, doors open at 7, shows at 8. Corey Kent and Clayton Mullen are going to be taking the stage over at the Bourbon Theater. I pressed the wrong button over here on my other computer. Thankfully, it didn't change our full screen here. It was just my
just the Excel.
Different screen. But
but yeah, lots of opportunities for performances here this weekend. You know, whether you're into jazz like we just talked about, or more into comedy, not so much music. But then Corey Kent and Clayton Mullen over at the Bourbon, and Blazin' Mike's with Gary Curtis and Nick Allen over at Backswing Brewing Company. Opportunity to listen to quite a bit of different music.
All over the place on Friday. So, yeah, anything that you like, there's probably an opportunity for it. Into Saturday, Danielle, you have to start with a birthday party.
I was going to say, before we get to Saturday, I know you had Cheap Death on there. I wanted to bring that up because they had a little write-up on Facebook saying that this was a group formed at a summer camp in 2020 and has evolved into a band that performs at Lincoln venues like the legendary Zoo Bar, 1867.
Nice.
And so they're at all these kinds of different Lincoln events. So some of you have probably heard of them before.
Nice. That's fun. I mean, just a summer camp, hanging out, start a band, and they're performing all over town.
Yeah. How fun is that?
That is fun.
You know,
that
nice.
Is fun.
A little something.
Yeah. And now, can I go to the birthday party?
Now your birthday party.
We can go to the birthday party.
Not your birthday party,
but
a birthday party.
But a birthday party, or a birthday bash, I think is what it's being billed as. See what I did there? I didn't even mean to do that. The Domestipups is celebrating 25 years of tail wagging joy. So again, this is an organization here in town. Again, obviously helping with dogs, therapy dogs, service dogs, adoptables, and they've been in town for 25 years now, and so they're having a big old party.
Yeah, and you know, just like usual, they'll have fun little activities. Of course, you can bring your pet. There'll be prizes, contests, things like that. But the event is free, but a free will donation will be accepted if you're willing to offer one.
Well, and it always goes to a good cause.
I mean, look at all of those cute faces.
So that's just one on Saturday. That's going to be from 1 to 4. There are a lot of other Saturday events, though. If we jump into other things we have happening on Saturday. Again, back at Prairie Pines Nature Reserve to kind of start the day with Saturdays at Prairie Pines. That's from 9 to 5.
Yes, and then from 10 to noon, you can either go to Houseplant Swap and Macrame over at the Canorio Garden Center, or Hearts of Plenty making class. It's a card making class over at Clements Noyes.
For Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but this Houseplant Swap, an opportunity for those that can actually have a house plant and not kill it somehow. Whether, I'm not going to say that I can't have a house plant, but my cat refuses to let me.
Well, and I say you can't see it now, but there might be a plant behind you.
Yeah, that also, I'm going to blame Bill for that. But if anybody has any tips on, we have named our plant behind us Susan. So if anybody sees how droopy Susan is when we come back on camera and has any tips, let us know. But this house plant, yeah, sounds fun. You can bring a plant to swap with someone else.
There's Susan behind you.
Opportunity. Yeah. Susan.
Little droopy. But hey, she's still alive somehow, being over in our dark little cave, because when these lights aren't on, it gets pretty dark over here. And then from 10 a.m. to 2 is Scent and Sip, a tea tasting event over at Copper and Wax Company. And so you'll be able to taste a variety of different teas, but also Copper and Wax is releasing their February candle collection on this Saturday. So that would be a fun little opportunity. Try some tea, and then some my wife
new
has been
unique
boiling
smells.
apples recently, and she keeps leaving boiled apple remnants in our pots, and she keeps saying it's for tea.
For tea.
So
yeah.
I don't know what she's
I
doing.
had some of the scents down here. You were probably like, what is this wording on the Excel sheet? They are going to have Turkish rose, smoky vanilla, jasmine, peach, sparkling champagne, and cherries. Those are just a few of the scents. No apple scents that they listed here, but there very well could be. But cherries, that's always a nice jasmine, little fun, peach. Unique one there.
Yeah. All good things. Jumping back over, continuing Saturday, but you mentioned it, Danielle, the Nebraska Track and Field event, again, obviously happening Friday, and then another one happening on Saturday, starting at 10:45 Saturday morning over at the Devaney Center. This will be more of the full team, I think is what you were getting at earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me bring that up. So this is, where we were talking that they will have a Little Red 60-meter dash. It's a race for kids aged pre-kindergarten through 6th grade, and that's going to begin at 11:30.
Nice.
So... Fun little
Are we
dash.
eligible for that?
Honestly, they would probably like to see us run just for giggles. Be like, let's have these two yahoos come out and run. These kids would probably beat us.
The guy who won the Porsche last night?
Yes. I'm going to put that in Night V. If you guys are watching and you haven't seen it, it was incredible because what do you mean you made that putt from full court? Court putt.
The announcers talked about it too, though, but now the IRS is going to come.
I sent it to my brother, and he was like, "Have fun paying the sales tax on that." But hey, he won a Porsche. How often can you say that?
Very, very few. Very few. Turpin Outdoor Education Center is going to be hosting Try Rifle and Try Archery this weekend. Saturday, Try Rifle is going to be from 11 to noon, and then Try Archery is going to be from 1 to 2. Should be nice weather for some winter bird watching. This is going to be over at the Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Center from 1 to 2:30. Again, weather should cooperate for that. Also on Saturday, I'm assuming this is a bird-related activity. The seed share in Odd Pavilion over at Antelope Park is going to be from 1 to 3 o'clock.
Somewhat bird-related. I think it's more plant-related.
Plant-related?
It's free and open to all, and you don't have to bring seeds to participate.
They were back-to-back, though, so I had birds on the brain.
Birds in your brain.
Yeah.
And maybe a tiny seed as your brain. Then from 6 to 10, dueling pianos and dinner over at Seven Willows. 6:05, Lincoln Stars taking on Omaha Lancers, and then it's K-pop night over at the Bourbon Theater.
I will skip that one.
K-pop.
That's just me.
K-pop.
Finishing out Saturday, you have Scott Meredith performing some acoustic tunes over at Deer Springs Winery, 7 to 9 p.m. Getting a little bit late there. A little past my bedtime.
On a Saturday? Bill, come on.
Dude, kids go to bed, and, dad's in bed. There's not a lot of loitering happening when the bed is available. 7:30 again, back at the Leeds Center. Again, another event at the Leeds Center. The Lincoln Symphony Orchestra doing French impressions. I should say doing French impressions. They're performing.
They're performing
French impressions at 7:30, and then 8 p.m. Saturday night. Helen Bach over at Gray's Keg.
Yeah, and we've had 2 events from Gray's Keg. There was one on Friday and then one here on Saturday. They were gonna have Battle of the Bands, but that got postponed. These 2 are stepping up in the place of that to perform over at Gray's Keg.
There we go. Sunday, though, Danielle, we got this event that's happening from noon to 2. This is going to be over at the Talon Room Catering, I think is how you say it. I know it's room and catering. I think it's Talon. But they're having a winter tasting. So, again, this is an event, again, if you're planning a wedding, big occasion. So they're a catering company, and they're putting on a tasting. So you can kind of come figure out if you want them to cater your wedding or your big event.
Yeah, lots of different seasonal dishes and to explore, different flavors, things like that. And I think they had special deals, too, for if you had a bigger party attending this tasting event.
I think it was, I want to say $20 maybe to get in, I think is what it was.
Winter. Let me see if I can. Oh, no, I didn't have that one up. But I can pull it up.
I want to say it was $20. I could be wrong.
Let's take a look. $20 per person for those who are not yet booked.
There you go.
So, yep.
So, again, if you're looking to plan that big event, this is an event that could help you plan that big event. Other events, though, happening on Sunday, kind of rounding out the weekend. Again, not a whole lot happening on Sunday. Husker women's tennis, though, in action, taking on Washington State. This is over at the Sid and Hazel Dillon Tennis Center. That's at noon. James Arthur Vineyards hosting Music Bingo from 2 to 4:30. Nebraska women's gymnastics taking on Maryland at 4 over at the Devaney Center. And at 6, you have 50-52 release party and Calico video premiere at the Bourbon Theater. Those words in that order don't make sense in my brain, so I'm not exactly sure what exactly that is. But that is what's happening over at the Bourbon Theater Sunday night. Yeah,
and here another one that I had snuck into our little Excel sheet is Winter Walk in the Woods over at Prairie Pines Nature Reserve. That you can have a guided tour that starts at 1:30 and goes to 2:30, or you can just walk on your own between 1 o'clock to 4.
Get your steps in.
Get your steps in, yeah. Out in nature,
touch some grass.
Yeah, touch some grass over at Prairie, and then if you're like, wow, I'm feeling super revived, let me go find a plant and then go to that one, or I guess that one's before. So go find yourself a plant and you're like, man, I know what I'm doing now. Let me get connected with nature. Be one. Really get the green thumb.
There you go. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, the weather should cooperate for the weekend. It will be cold tomorrow morning. So again, bundle up early tomorrow. But again, 44 tomorrow afternoon. Not bad. About 20 degrees better than where we're at today. And then we'll call it seasonal Saturday and Sunday, upper 30s for highs, maybe a little bit of a breeze on Saturday. That's going to make it feel a little bit cooler, but that's pretty typical for late January. So, again, not a whole lot to complain about there.
Still no snow.
Have
we hit the year mark?
What?
Have we hit the year mark of no snow? Measurable snow? Has that passed yet? I think we've talked about it.
It was January 18th of last year that we had our last measurable snow.
So we have hit a year of no measurable snow.
Well, from February of 2024 through January of 2025, there's only been 1 inch of snow in Lincoln. Now, if you were to believe the European model, for late next week, that could change. But that's 10 days away, 10 plus days away. Will that happen?
Yeah, who knows? But hey, I think the kids have been missing out on how fun it is to go sledding and to play out in the snow. They, need a little opportunity, and we need to get you outdoors to build a snowman with your kids.
I was talking with Jamie on Monday because they, LPS and Catholic schools had, a lot of schools had either a late start or just didn't have school, and I was talking to him. He's like, okay, wait, so we don't have to go to school because it's really cold outside. And I was like, yes. It's like, okay. He's like, but on a snow day, we don't have to go to school because there's snow. And I was like, yes. He's like, but on a snow day, we can go outside and play in the snow. And I was like, yes. He's like, but on a cold day, we can't do that. I'm like, no. I'm like, you're getting. It's like, cool, good, no school for you, but also like, okay, just hang out inside and not do anything.
Yeah. I mean, whenever we had snow days, I would always watch The Price is Right.
Yeah, there you go.
So
with Bob Barker, right?
Yeah.
With the goat, Bob Barker.
Well, I think it was
That's
Jim,
how we should sign off Star City Buzz from now on.
It
Get your pet spayed and neutered.
I think it might have switched to Jim Carrey by that time. But it was always great with Bob.
It was. All right, another one in the books, Danielle.
Yeah. Star City Buzz, we're, as we've kind of gotten used to how this goes, we're going to be trying some new things. So stay tuned for what that means.
Yeah. So appreciate everyone for tuning in, watching. Again, make sure you tune in. Coming up here, just about 5 minutes, 5 o'clock news coming up. We'll catch you up with all the latest news and weather headlines. And then make sure you tune in the rest of the night. Keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, for all of the latest updates. So appreciate everyone tuning in, watching another edition of Star City Buzz. Hope everyone has a nice weekend.
You've been listening to 1011 Star City Buzz. Watch, listen, stream on the 1011 Now app on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.